A note before this begins. Everything here comes from court filings, police statements, and reporting by TMZ, The Shade Room, Complex, Hot New Hip Hop, and All Hip Hop. Criminal charges against Darian Morgan, known professionally as Big Tigger, remain unresolved. He denies them. Nothing in this script should be read as a verdict on either person. 10 seconds of video. That's roughly what it takes for a marriage that's been unraveling in public for 2 months to generate its next viral moment. A man reaching toward a woman on the floor, a woman refusing to let go of something small enough to fit in her palm. Somewhere off camera, a third voice, unclear whose, telling him to get off of her. That's the clip that hit Instagram on the morning of July 7th, 2026. Within hours, it had racked up tens of thousands of comments. Comedian Lil Duval, who posted it himself, drew nearly 23,000 reactions in 11 hours. And almost immediately, the internet split into two camps, arguing about a 10-second video as if it contained the entire truth of a relationship that neither side could actually see. It didn't. That's the part worth sitting with before anything else. Start with what the footage actually shows, because that's where most of the arguing lived. Big Tigger has his arms around Alicia Brown, reaching for what appears to be his phone, which she's holding near her stomach. She ends up on the floor, on top of some packaged clothing. He tells the person filming that she dropped. She's crying. He stands over her, repeating that if she hands over the phone, it will be over with. The person recording tells him to get off her. She tells him the same, and separately accuses him of manhandling her. Nobody watching that clip knows what happened in the seconds before it started. Nobody knows what happened after it ended. TMZ, which published one version of the footage, said as much directly. It's unclear when the confrontation was recorded, and unclear how it began or ended. That single admission is more honest than most of what followed it online. Lil Duval didn't wait for clarity. He shared the video to his own page and told his comment section that Tigger was clearly just trying to retrieve his phone. When someone in his comments asked why Tigger didn't just call the police, Duval had a one-line answer waiting. What phone would he have called with? She had it. It's a joke. It's also, in its own way, an argument. The phone itself becomes the alibi. Lil Scrappy went further, suggesting in his own comments that Brown and whoever was filming had set Tigger up. He said he no longer trusts people, that Brown could have gotten off the floor but chose to stay there, being dramatic in his words. King Harris's reaction was shorter and harder to parse. The video, he said, pissed him off, punctuated with laughing emojis, the kind of response that reads as anger and amusement fighting for the same sentence. King Harris's reaction was shorter and harder to parse. The video, he said, pissed him off, punctuated with laughing emojis, the kind of response that reads as anger and amusement fighting for the same sentence. Naturi Naughton took the clearest position of anyone who weighed in. She's known Tigger for decades, she wrote, and has only ever seen kindness, joy, and love from him. She tagged it, "This is sad." 4 different celebrities, 4 different reactions, and all 4 arrived at their conclusions from the same 10 seconds of unverified footage. That's worth noticing before it's worth agreeing or disagreeing with any of them. Now zoom out, because the phone video isn't actually the beginning of this story. It's closer to the middle. Go back to May. According to Complex's reporting on the underlying court warrants, a domestic incident at the couple's home reportedly began with text messages between Tigger and a female colleague and escalated from there. Their child was home at the time. Brown, according to the warrants, suffered a laceration above her eye after allegedly being shoved into a door. A separate account, published by the outlet BLK Alerts and drawn from warrant language, describes a longer sequence. An earlier struggle over Tigger's phone that left Brown with a bruised hip, Brown retreating to a shared office and threatening to unplug a computer, and then a second stretch of the encounter captured on an in-home Ring camera, Tigger grabbing Brown from behind, a shove into a corner, and the laceration that sent her to a hospital. If that account is accurate, then the July phone struggle isn't a new kind of conflict between them. It's a repeat of a pattern that had already, months earlier, ended with stitches and a police report. That context doesn't appear anywhere in Lil Duval's joke about who had the phone. It doesn't appear in Lil Scrappy's comment about her staying on the floor. It's that they were reacting to a fragment, the same way most of the internet was. Ugh. June 9th. Francesca Amaker, Tigger's V103 radio co-host, posted a statement denying any romantic involvement with him. Brown had accused the two of an affair after sharing photos that seemed to allude to abuse in her marriage, before later saying she'd never called her husband an abuser. June 20th. Tigger was booked into Fulton County Jail on charges of aggravated battery and third-degree cruelty to children. He posted a $10,000 bond and was released, but a protective order kept him at least 200 yards from his wife and children. He has said he unequivocally denies every allegation against him. Brown, meanwhile, was granted a temporary protective order of her own, along with temporary custody of the children and exclusive use of the family home. 10 days later, on June 30th, Amaker filed a federal defamation suit against Brown in the Northern District of Georgia, seeking more than $75,000 in damages. The suit claims Brown's social media posts, made across multiple accounts through May and June, painted her as a homewrecker who condoned domestic violence and that the fallout cost her public appearances and business opportunities. Amaker has also said, through her filing, that some of Brown's posts were connected to promoting an app she was launching, one built around the same he said, she said premise as the accusations themselves. 2 lawsuits, 2 arrests, and a marriage none of it was actually explaining, just accumulating. Here's where the story stops being about a marriage. On Monday, July 6th, Hart County Sheriff's Office deputies in Georgia pulled Alicia Brown over on Interstate 85 during a felony traffic stop, acting on a bolo tied to outstanding warrants out of Maryland. 2 young children were in the vehicle, one of them, Tigger, and Brown's own child. Both were safely recovered. The warrants, according to TMZ, stem from the 2019 disappearance of Brown's daughter, then 10 years old, named Alia. Brown is now also facing a felony interference with child custody charge in Georgia and is expected to be extradited to Maryland. That detail changes the shape of everything that came before it. Not because it proves anything about the domestic violence allegations either way, those remain separate matters with their own evidence. But it means the public argument over a 10-second phone video was happening in near total ignorance of a 7-year-old child custody case that had, apparently, never been resolved. Some of the reaction in Brown's own comment sections shifted almost immediately once that news broke. One commenter wrote that it was hard to take her floor performance seriously, knowing her own child was still missing. Another said they hoped the father, who'd reportedly been searching for his daughter for years, would finally get some answers. Brown's legal team has said she intends to let the process play out, that the evidence will speak for itself. No court has made a final determination on any of the charges against her or against her husband. So return to the phone video one more time, with everything now sitting next to it instead of in front of it. It's still true that nobody watching that clip knows what happened before or after it. It's still true that Lil Duval's joke, Lil Scrappy's accusation, King Harris's frustration, and Naturi Naughton's defense were all honest reactions to what they could see. None of them had access to the Ring camera footage from May, or the warrant language describing a bruised hip and a shoved-in door, or the Maryland warrants that wouldn't surface for another 24 hours. That's not a failure of the people commenting. It's just what happens when a private, unresolved, actively litigated situation gets distributed to the public one leaked clip at a time. Each fragment reads as a complete story to whoever sees it first. It rarely is one. 2 criminal cases remain open. A federal lawsuit is pending. A missing child case that predates this entire public saga by 7 years has just resurfaced inside it. And the video that started this particular news cycle, the one with a man standing over a woman on the floor, still doesn't tell anyone what they think it tells them. What's actually known fits in a much shorter sentence than any of the arguments it produced. 2 people are facing serious, separate legal proceedings. Both have denied wrongdoing where they've spoken publicly, and the full picture, if it exists anywhere, exists in courtrooms in Georgia and Maryland, not in anyone's Instagram comments.